All right, all right.
So the topic for today is talking about relationships. We've actually had a lot of requests in our one-on-one conversations, and other, messages. People asking us about our relationship and, relationships in general, how to have a healthy relationship. I know a lot of people have struggled. And it's such an important part of life. First of all, your own self, your own physical self and well-being. Second of all, your relationships with other people. And third of all, of course, your professional relationships. But within that whole sphere of relationships with other people is that very special life partner relationship, the person that you choose to build a life with. And I know that a lot of people who may be watching this don't currently have a life partner, for whatever reason. And so I kind of wanted to start off with some thoughts about how to bring that into your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say step one is self-love. If you just start focusing on what there is to love about you and building that up and taking an honest assessment of maybe some things about you that aren't so lovable, and working to address that, and just really generating this self-love for yourself. And then secondly is trusting that there are good people out there. The right people are out there. And some people focus on this like finding the one. And this idea, like even I don't actually think Tovy is necessarily like the one.
The one. Uh-huh.
And I think that we both have that agreement that there are probably thousands of people out there who would have been perfect for us. And we chose to make this work with each other.
Yep.
And we could have each chosen to make a beautiful relationship work with someone else. There are thousands of the right one out there for you. And so be open to it, and do your affirmations each day. Create an affirmation for what it is that you want in your life. And, just expect that it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, a relationship is very interesting. I mean, if you, and sometimes, a lot of times actually, people's looking to find the butterfly. You gotta look for the butterfly. Oh, I have the butterfly in my stomach. I must be in love. You must love me. But reality is like the butterfly is supposed to be there for a few months to a year. But after that, that's where the challenge comes. Is where you gotta decide that if you wanna love somebody or just stay in love. Oh, I'm not in love. I don't feel the butterfly anymore. I'm gonna move on. Reality, like that's a lot of people like that.
Yeah.
If you don't feel butterfly in the stomach, oh, I don't feel in love anymore. So I need a new partner. And then they keep going. You find a new partner, and then they never find the right one. All right, they never will find the right one. The right partner is the one that you guys create together. Okay, Mel and I, when we met, I don't know if you guys know, we've been together for 20 plus years.
24
years, all right. We met in 1998, and when we first met, we were already know that we were going to be together.
Okay.
We kind of felt that the connection already.
Okay, well, hold on.
But okay.
I got the whole story written
You
out.
have the whole story?
I'm ready to
awesome,
tell
awesome.
the whole story.
But yes, I will glad you have that. But anyway, we had the connection from the day one. Okay. But we of course we didn't decide on getting married and all that stuff right away. But we had the connection. And the connection come what we start to respecting each other from day one. We look at each other, we start talking to each other, tell each other stuff. Even that my English wasn't that great, but Melanie tell me her story of what you like, what she liked, and all that stuff. And that was actually very special to me, because it was the first time actually a woman was more interested to tell her story, who they are, want me to know her. She wanted me to know is that who she is, and then build my relationship through that. Okay, so I knew all, most of what she was, at that time, and I chose to be with her anyway. All right. So you will have your story.
I have so much I want to say.
Yeah,
Yes.
go ahead.
So I want to take a step back because I also wanted to talk about like we are expecting this relationship to come into your life, and it could like you got to walk into every room knowing today might be the day. He might be the one. The person standing in front of you at line getting coffee might be the one, or it might be someone that you've had a work relationship with. Well, be careful about that. But some other, you may have known them for quite a long time, and then all of a sudden you realize why they've been in your life and that they're meant to be something more special. So I just want to put that out there. I wanted to put out there too. I love everything that you were saying about the butterflies. I want to put out there too about having high expectations for this person that you might build your whole life with. And at the same time, like understanding that we're all human, right? We make mistakes all the time and we forgive each other, and we make big, hurtful mistakes and we forgive each other all the time. So if you're trying to find somebody that's not going to hurt you, that might be some work that you need to do to explore and expect that people are going to hurt your feelings. But you got to have high expectations for the level of respect and honesty that they give you. And then like Tovy was saying, it's a question of commitment. So, before I went to Cape Verde, I, not on purpose, not with this sense of intention, but I had dated a lot, and I was pretty sure that when I spent these 2 years in Cape Verde, I was going to find my husband. I was pretty sure that I was going to get married in Cape Verde, and I kept picturing meeting this person. And in my visions, he had dreadlocks. Right? Like, so I didn't know when I met Tovy. I mean, Tovy wasn't bald then, but he didn't have dreadlocks. And I didn't know you were the one when I met you. But I was ready to find the one. I didn't want to date anymore. I was tired of the dating game. I was actually a little bit worried about sexually transmitted diseases, like having just had a lot of relationships. And I know that you were kind of in the same place. You dated a lot. We're kind of tired of that game. And so when we met, though, I think you knew I was the one, but I didn't know.
Yeah, I actually have this story that...
Hold on, that comes later.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Hold on. Because when we first met, and then our first kiss, so I was still like trying to suss out whether this was the person that I wanted to give my attention to, and Tovy stole a kiss.
Yes, I did it.
And I was like, oh God. And I got the butterflies, right? And it was exciting. But so I said to him that night, I said, look, I'm serious. I'm not messing around. And he's like, yeah, me too. And I was like, no, like I'm looking for my forever partner. And he's like, yeah, me too. I was like, really? Like, yeah. I'm like, okay. But I'm not messing around. Like, I'm serious. And he's like, yeah, me too. And really the next couple of weeks were a whirlwind of us like getting on the same page and merging our visions of our futures. I mean, we just met. So all in all, I'd say by the time we'd been dating for a month or 5 weeks, we were very clear. We'd told each other everything about our pasts that we could think of. And we were very clear on a vision for the future. And even though everything wasn't ironed out, we tried to like get everything, clear right up front. And that's one of the things that I kind of hate about a lot of TV and movies is there's all this hiding and hoping that someone doesn't find out your truth. And I think that's really destructive.
That's how the relationship will get broken. When your partner find out that, a couple of years ago you were somebody else or do something else, it's important to start a relationship with the facts.
And even if
Yeah.
you've been in a relationship for a while, you know, it's still the right time to start being honest and sharing, you know, things of your past. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's still things that come up that I'm like, oh, well, I never mentioned this. It's not that I was hiding it. It's just that it never, you know, surfaced,
Yeah.
really. I haven't told you every single detail of my whole
I'm
existence,
sure you
even
didn't.
yet in 24 years. But it's
Yeah.
not like I'm hiding something.
I'm like,
Mm. um, and on that note, I would say the other thing that we became really clear on that I think has been a secret to our relationship is the fact that I don't believe that anybody owns. We don't believe that
no.
anybody owns anybody. I don't believe that Tovy owes me loyalty or fidelity. And I made it very clear when we first started dating that that was a belief, and that if he sees someone and he's attracted and he chooses to pursue that, I won't take it as a betrayal. You know, the only betrayal is if you hide something from me and you sneak around and tell me lies. That's a betrayal. But if you tell me I've met this person and I think I'm attracted to them or I think I'm falling in love with them, then we'll go through that process together. You know, and by knowing that about each other, it's brought a great deal of trust.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
he can go out and spend time with his friends and he can go out and travel, whatever. Because I know that if he falls in love with somebody else or he feels an attraction, that he talks to me about it, and vice versa.
Yep.
That I have that privilege to be attracted to somebody, to feel that and to talk about it.
Yeah, because I mean, reality is like, we are human. We all are human, okay? And over time, things change, okay? Even your eating habit change, right? Every 10 years, you become a new person. Believe or not, even if you change yourself or you let the time change you, every 10 years, you are a different person, no matter what. And you gotta keep that in mind that your partner change every day, you change every day, and the relationship has to be constantly changing.
Hmm.
If you wanted to have a relationship to last a long time, it has to be changing. It has to be, monetized. No,
No.
no, it has to be, how you say it. You have to maintenance, like a
Maintenance.
maintenance, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to see, what needed to, fixing here, fixing that. You have to put the stuff together, all right, every single time if you want a relationship to last longer. But a lot of people, because last relationship, love somebody forever, it takes a lot of work, guys. It's not just talk the talk. You gotta walk the walk. You gotta walk the walk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it takes a lot of energy and focus on the relationship to last a long time. We kind of like, so in Melanie's family, they have like, their parents was married for 50 plus years. We have your uncle. He's been married for what, 60 plus years. They had an uncle that passed away a couple of years ago, was married for like 80 years. But you know what? It wasn't easy. They had to have, commitment to work on their relationship, and as it changing. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what we're trying to do as well, right? We, every day, every month, every week, we we're sitting down, we talk to each other, we find out what's going on, and we fix stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We fix stuff. We are constantly fixing stuff, fixing stuff. Yes, we've been together for 24 years. We've been married for 22 years. But life is not always perfect. It's not like we are in the butterfly moments all the time, right?
Mm-mm.
No, it's
And
not.
that's the next thing too that I wanted to talk about too, because I know sometimes it sounds fairy tale and it sounds
Uh,
too good to be true. But there's been a lot that we've had to overcome.
Yeah, yeah.
And the first thing is that both of our families were pretty resistant when we first, again, like within a few months, we were talking about like, this is the one. I'm going to get married. And people were like, you're crazy. She must be pregnant. He must want a green card.
Yeah.
All these
Yeah.
things. And there was a lot of people who cared a lot about us trying to keep us safe by keeping us apart. And so I honestly think that may have been one of the things that kept us together, because we had a lot to prove.
Yeah.
And we had to work really hard, and we had to like justify
Yeah.
what was so great about our relationship. So I actually think that brought us together, but it was really painful and really hard. And there were times in those first few years before we got married that I chose my family and then came back to choosing Tovy. But it was very, very difficult. But once we made that decision and we said we are getting married and we chose each other, people came around us, and those that didn't fell away, and that's okay. But the important people, saw that this is going to happen anyway.
Yeah.
So they got on the same page. And then the other thing that we've really had to come through, I think I've mentioned before, depression is part of my family history. And I started developing depression basically in puberty, basically when I was about 14, started struggling with depression. And it was on and off medications, and when it's in and out of therapy. And that was a huge struggle, because honestly, for the first 20 years, you didn't know how to deal with it.
No.
And Tovy would try to give me advice and try to tell me how to solve that particular problem in the moment, or just basically like, you need to have a better attitude type of advice. And it felt very alienating, like he didn't understand me. And then his other solution, he'd go the opposite direction and give me my space to work my stuff out. And that was also isolating, and I felt all alone and like I had no one to talk to. And I knew that he loved me and he was trying his best. But I honestly, at times, I had a better relationship with my therapist than I did with my husband. And it was hard to come home and feel like I didn't have that support. It was hard because his love language is like physical touch and intimacy. And I, of course, didn't want to do that with someone that I wasn't feeling connected with. And so there were years where we just had to like try our best, even though we were both in a lot of pain. And then like a year ago, Tovy learned this magic phrase that has kind of turned everything around. And is just tell me more. Tell me more. And I would recommend the whole book, The Lost Art of Listening. And I would say that listening has, we did a whole video, I think, about a whole live event about listening.
Yeah.
But this thing of just like being heard and being allowed to express and being allowed to feel what I feel, and that you can handle it, and that you're strong enough to just listen to my emotions and to allow me to be emotional is just, and then I want to be intimate because I feel so loved.
It definitely feel much better or when I figured out that you didn't need my opinion, but you just needed to say more. And and that was a really powerful thing to overcome, because sometimes relationship ends because there is one word you didn't say on the right time. All right. And but for us it's like we love each other so much that we're willing to do anything possible to make the relationship work. But yeah, it's a tough. It's a tough to be on the relationship that the communication is really like in the opposite direction, and you don't want to do that. You want to try to communicate, try to tell the truth, try to exactly how you feel. Melanie tell me exactly how she feel.
But I didn't know how to do that before, and I didn't know
But
it was my responsibility to know how I feel
yeah,
and to know what I needed.
yeah, because yes, because this is the thing, because she know what she want, but she wanted me to guess.
That's not true.
I mean,
I
basically,
didn't know what I wanted. I wanted you to fix my problem.
you yeah, but
I wanted you to make me feel better.
yeah,
And I didn't know how to do that myself. So I wanted you
true.
to know how to do it.
And I didn't know how to do
Of
that
course
either.
not.
We're missing some part.
And so I've learned that it's my
But
responsibility to figure out what's going to make me feel better
yeah, yeah,
and to say, like, what do you need?
yeah. Because reality is like your partner cannot give you happiness. Your partner cannot make you feel happy. Your friends cannot make you feel happy. Your parents cannot make you feel happy. Okay, you, the one, have to make yourself be happy with whatever you do. If it make you happy, be happy for that, because that happiness is what matter in life. Okay, so uh, focus. I would say in a relationship, first you gotta focus into your in your own self. Okay, because if you don't love your own self, don't tell you love somebody else, because you don't. Okay,
Well, it's
you
like
gotta love yourself first
you don't have enough to share
to
and
share
to
it.
spread
Yeah,
if you're not loving yourself.
if you love
first.
yourself, you have to love yourself. That way you will be able to tell somebody I love you, and somebody will believe it, because you know what, you love yourself so much that you know you love me too. Okay, that's yes. But if you are just somebody that you don't love yourself, and then you tell somebody you love you, oh I love you, I love you, but you love yourself, what happened to you? I mean, you gotta love yourself first. You are number one and the only one. There's nobody like you. Okay, there's nobody like you. There's nobody who know you more than you know yourself. So you have to love yourself first, and then love somebody else. And then term of relationship also has to do with, so many things. I mean, we find that people that looking for their perfect person. That's not perfect person. There is no perfect person. You want to be in a meaningful relationship, you gotta find somebody that you guys also have a lot of common sense together. Something in
Things in
common,
common.
things in common. But also you want to have somebody that you got a lot of stuff that to join together. And I mean, something like, oh wow, you learn from each other. Well, by learning from each other, you have more, time to develop a better relationship. Okay. A lot of people, they want to be in a relationship that, yeah, they eat the same food, they drink the same drink, they like the same dance, they like the same place.
There's nothing wrong with
That's
that.
not, no, there's nothing wrong with that. But that was the boringness of a relationship, because you guys all like the same thing, you guys all do the same stuff, all the time. There's nothing new. There's nothing new to create the connection, Okay, but when you have something to learn from each other every single day, you know, and make the relationship stronger, stronger. That's how I feel, you know, in terms of a relationship. And just, you know, be mindful that, nobody's perfect, and you're not in a relationship to make somebody be perfect. you know, I cannot make her be perfect. She cannot make me be perfect. Okay, we have to work in our differences and move ourselves forward to our goal. Our goal is to be together for as long as possible in our life. Right? I hope that we will be together for the rest of our life. But if it doesn't work out, we also talk about this thing, right? If me and Mel one day, if thing doesn't work out, hey, it doesn't work out. We don't need to trash each other. Hey, no, we don't need to trash each other. We are going to love each other. And this is actually one thing that I love about my parents. Okay, my parents divorced when I was 5 years old. I was one of the person that say I will never get married in my life. But turns out I was the first friend in my whole friends. I was the first one to get married. Okay, and about my parents, they divorced when I was 5. Well, my parents always been friends with each other. My parents always help each other. All right, they help each other on the happiness and the sickness. Um, they help each other and look after each other all the time. They're still fighting sometimes. That's what they are. But they show me love. You don't have to be in a relationship to be still love. My parents love each other. They have great communication with each other. Okay. I mean, I think just the older parents actually divorced. I was 5 years old, but I didn't felt like I was the divorced parents because I had a lot of both sides. All right, I had a lot of both sides, and I see the relationship between my mom and my dad. Even that sometimes they talk crap about each other, but they care about each other. All right, they care about each other, and that's what makes it special with a life. Okay, we hope we're gonna be together forever. But if it doesn't work out, we're not here to trust each other. We're here to love each other, even when we separate from each other. You know what I mean? That's why we're our plan.
Not to cut your
Yes.
conversation, but we only have a couple minutes left, and I want to make sure that we talk about all the tips that we have researched to share with people.
Oh yes.
And I want to do a little review of some things as well. So, some things we talked about: commitment, communication, listening, as well as being responsible for knowing and expressing your own needs, forgiveness, trying to be the first one to forgive and to apologize in an argument, spending time, making a priority to spend time together, even when you're busy, and even though you may not have the budget, just go take a walk, spend time together, and a walk is a great place to talk as well. And I think having some kind of joint project or joint purpose that you're coming together about, and sometimes that's, children, parenting can fulfill that for a while. But there's something else beyond that of, like we have our business now. You see other families that are sports fans together, or building a car together, or whatever, like having a project or a purpose together. What else? What are some of the other things that you had on your list there? Love.
Yeah. Let me see.
You're listening so carefully. What are you guys who are watching? What are some of your other relationship tips? Be prepared for ups and downs.
Oh yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah,
that's a big one.
Don't get all bent out of shape. Like when our relationship is like when we're in a fight, we know it's temporary, right? It's not like the whole thing is gonna fall apart just because we're in a fight.
Now what we've been doing, what we learned to do is like, if something go off and we're about to start a fight, we'll all go like for half hour or 1 hour and come back and look at each other in the eye and sit down and talk about it. Because sometimes if something happen in a moment and you start to fighting about it in a moment, it might be too intense to the point that it will be too too intense. So you wanna, if something happened in a moment, you wanna to step back a little bit, come back and then talk to it, talk through it, and that will help. On the relationship.
And Tim says, have empathy and attempt to see things from other person's point of view. And I think that in that space is when I'm trying to figure out why I'm so triggered and what this is bringing up for me and working through my own stuff. And then at the same time, trying to figure out why he's upset and have empathy, exactly like Phil said, like try to have empathy for probably what he was feeling, or at least if I can't figure it out, going to ask, like, can you explain to me why you were so upset? Can I explain to you why I was upset?
Yeah, because usually this is what happened. If two partners are upset with each other, one is upset because one thing, the other upset because something else. they're not upset because the same team.
Mm-hmm.
And it usually doesn't happen that way.
Mm-mm.
Because the point of view that I'm seeing one way, you seeing different way, and then now we conflicting.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you need to take a few minutes apart and come back, sit down and talk about it, or take a walk and talk about it.
And
that will help a lot.
And just so we end on a really positive note, the other thing too is just to express a lot of appreciation and admiration, and really keep your eye out and make sure that you are not taking your partner for granted. And every little thing that they do, whether I don't necessarily mention everything, but I try to mention, thank you, and just express gratitude, and to notice, all that he puts into the relationship. And I guess that's true for all relationships.
Yeah.
I do it with the kids, and I try to do it with friends and family as well. Back to expressing gratitude. And we're really excited about the gratitude challenge.
Yes.
So just to let you know, we are going to take next week off from our live events. So take next Saturday off. But we'll be posting a lot of great content in the group in the meantime, and getting ready to launch that gratitude challenge. And we wish you all the best with your personal relationships. And if you'd like to talk to us and build some strategies about either bringing a relationship into your life, or strengthening or improving the relationship that you already have in your life, we are totally open to having that conversation with you.
Yeah, and one little thing also is like on the relationship, just you and your partner is not enough to hold the relationship. You wanted to have professionals that will see both sides and align you on the right direction, so you can work.
That's true.
And build what you really want. Okay, we talk a lot of therapy, but just to think about therapy. Okay, when Mel first tell me to take the therapy, it was like in 2007 to 14, something like that. I was like, therapy. Do I look like a crazy man? I'm not going anywhere. And I fight for it. I fight for like 2 years. I'm not going. Melanie get a therapy for we can go so many times. I didn't go. She went by herself for many times. I didn't go. And then, but you know what? That was my problem. The moment I decide, let me go to this therapy, I start to find the directions. I say, hey, okay, actually, I think I'm right there all the time. Number one, I think I'm right all the time, but actually, I'm not right all the time. I need to learn how to live with this woman, and I really need to learn how to live with this woman if I want to stay with her. Okay, and then my decision was like, yes, I want to stay with her for the rest of my life, for as long as I can. I need to find somebody who will help me to get there. So we get in the therapist, help us to move forward. We had
We've
live
had a
events.
lot of good therapists, but
Yes.
I will drop the link again. It's been a while since we shared Love Made Simple,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is the whole weekend that we did, and they do it on in person, I believe, still, and online. And so that was super valuable, and I'm glad you brought that up before.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna put that link because the Love Made Simple, that was actually the beginning of everything,
really good relationship.
everything in our life. It's the beginning that we start to really listen to each other, because we used to just I talk, you talk, and who's right? I'm right. No, I'm right. No.
But we stayed married for like 16
I
years
know, right?
before that. So anyway.
Yeah, because we really love and care for each other. We don't, we actually, even when we fight, we don't trust each other, which is really nice. All right.
Yeah, fight fair.
We fight fair. And we try to don't fight at all. But you know what? You gotta have a little fight to spice the thing too.
You don't.
Just a little bit.
No, you don't. All right.
But anyway,
thank you for being here.
Thank you guys
Thank
for
you
being
for
here.
watching. It means a lot to us. We love you. We hope this was valuable for you.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope it's been very valuable for you guys. We talk a lot about our study. There's so much to talk about. There's so much to talk about. A half hour is not even enough. Especially when I start talking, I start remember things, and just keep on going. I mean, I have stuff to say, but anyway, another time, maybe part 2.
Hmm.
Oh.
Bye.
All right. Bye. See you later.